This is how I make keto, low carbohydrate, chicken parmesan. These are the spices we'll use: garlic, onion, oregano, crushed red pepper, salt, pepper, and we'll use some almond flour. And this is obviously from Costco. Okay, you'll need some Parmesan cheese as well. And this is to grate the Parmesan cheese, and then something to flip the chicken. So I'm starting with 2 pounds of chicken fillet. This is organic chicken that my wife purchased, and I'll show you how I go about doing this. So I've already patted the chicken dry with paper towels, and the chicken was in the refrigerator, and I let it sit out for about an hour or two while wrapped. I unwrapped it, put it in these trays, and then I patted them dry with paper towels. So at this point, we preheat the oven to 400 degrees. You can do 350 and get that going so that it's all ready for us. And we'll also be using a fry pan. I happen to have a Made In fry pan. That's the brand name. This is a cover I bought from them, which prevents splattering. And let's see. This is the Made In pan. It's a non-stick pan, and when you use non-stick pans, you want to be sure and not use above medium heat. So we try to use low to medium heat, and we clean it after it cools. Of the almond flour, I'm not dredging this like you would if you put egg on it and then dredge it through. This is just to add a little bit of sustenance, whatever the word I'm looking for, to it. It doesn't give it a whole lot of taste, but just some breading, kind of feel of breading that you have with normal flour. So, and we're gonna do this whole process, we're gonna do on both sides. So that's it. So you waste a lot less when you do it this way than when you dredge it and then end up throwing away what's not used in the pan that you're dredging. Okay. It's true that if you do this higher up, you get more even distribution. All right, so we'll start with some of the other materials. I distribute the garlic, and I'm pretty liberal because I like spices. So here's the garlic going on, and I'm going to do the same thing with the other items, just like that. Instead of the ground pepper, I'm going to use kosher salt. I'm sorry, the ground salt. I'm going to just sprinkle on the kosher salt from high up, gets it nice and even. A little bit more, just a pinch. So yeah, I'm not measuring out stuff. We're not wasting any time. We're gonna get this done quick. Container. Basically, this is gonna be the majority of the breading, or what would have been the flour breading with stuff. Okay, so this is one side with the spices and with the Parmesan cheese on, and don't use pre-grated cheese because it tastes like crap, and the real cheese tastes really good. So if you want it to taste like restaurant quality or better, and it will taste better, I recommend fresh ingredients and using real cheese, not the grated stuff that you get in one of those jars that you shake. So next I'll flip each piece over, and we'll do the same thing on the other side. And a lot of this, most of it is actually going to stick, and we're going to fry it, and it's going to look just like, or very similar to a breading. And the kids love it, so you can make it for your family. If they're not keto, you don't have to be keto. It's just a quick way of doing it without using a lot of flour. So avocado oil is my favorite oil. It doesn't smoke if it gets hot, and just generally like it. Set the temperature 2, 3 or 4. They'll heat up pretty quickly. Okay, so you always put chicken or anything into an oil-filled container away from yourself. Go like that, away from me. And you can't do it all one time. You don't want to squish them in there. They won't come out good. So these are pretty big pieces. So it seems like we're only getting at 2. And I'm going to cover that with, set the timer for, I like to do it for about 3 minutes. 2 to 3 minutes. Let's do 3 and see how it looks. And get some of the baking done by covering it, preventing spattering, which is that thing, which I really think is very useful. Okay, let's see what's going on in there. And I have to use my spatula to do this. I don't use anything metal in here, so let me do that. All right, so we're going to go 2 minutes to the next side. It's really coming. All right, time is up. And very thin slices, so it doesn't take much time. Let's heat them up. And we're going to be putting the sauce on here. Throw a little more oil in. And get the next pieces going. Cover that up. Set the timer. We'll do 2.5 minutes. If you have a very thick piece of chicken breast, you should slice it in half so it's not as thick. And then if it's significantly thicker than those, it still might be, then I would say 3 minutes is going to be perfect probably, but these are thin and I could judge that 2 minutes is probably going to be just fine. And we're going to bake them. All right, time to flip this batch over. Oftentimes I made it with more of the breading, if you will. Well, it's not bread, but this is going to come out just fine. Starting again. I advise to keep setting the timer or you're going to forget what you're up to. Okay, now we're going to take our tomato sauce. This happens to be Thrive tomato sauce. And we're going to cover the chicken. And I like sauce, so I'm not going to be too stingy, although it's hard to do this lefty. Next, I'm going to grate the Parmesan cheese and put it over the chicken. And that's the Parmesan cheese now, grated on top for another layer. We'll put the mozzarella next. So this is the mozzarella. It comes pre-sliced. You get it from Costco. And it'll give you good texture, even if it doesn't taste like fresh mozzarella, which it doesn't taste like fresh. But this is probably what you're used to if you're not doing fancy cooking. I'm going to get some more, and then we're going to put it in the oven with some oregano on top. Okay, there's 2 minutes left out of my 15 minutes. So, I'll start cleaning this stuff up. I don't want grease to clog up your kitchen pipes. So get as much grease as you can off this thing before you go and wash it. So we're out of the oven now. 15 minutes baking. You could measure the temperature with an instant temperature probe, but just from experience, I know that this is gonna be totally fine. And we're gonna taste it. And here we are having plated our chicken parmesan. My wife made a beautiful salad. My beautiful wife made a beautiful salad. And I'm gonna cut into this and we're gonna see what it looks like. Let's see if I can set this up. Cut into my chicken parmesan. And it's delicious. Absolutely delicious. Thank you. It's just perfect. Maybe a little more sauce, but I can taste the cheese and the different spices. It's really good. Really good. Juicy. So I have 2 pounds. I'll probably eat 2 slices this evening out of 8. So that'll give me a couple lunches too. All right, a wild success, thank you. For storage, I just layered them on top of each other and poured the remaining tomato sauce from the pans into the container. And that'll go in the refrigerator, and it should last 3 to 4 days. This is the chicken parmesan reheated in the microwave the next day. It's delicious. This is day 4 leftovers, actually day 3. And it's so delicious. It's better today than when I first cooked it. So can't say enough about this recipe. It's really great. Here's what the chicken parmesan looks like when I make it with only 2 pieces of chicken. In this case, I just have a thick breast.